termination pay, which bumps up their average. They can choose to not include it, and then there's a third option that is totally separate. So just information, and they do have three options that they can choose what to do after they retire as well.
You know, one of the things with TRS, members can buy years. They can go in and say, okay, I want to buy 5 years of service credit. And so a teacher early on in their career, if they decide to do that, will make payments to buy those 5 years of service credit so that they can retire 5 years earlier. So at the end of their career, some teachers will have had accumulated sick leave that can be rolled into the termination. So if they've accumulated a large amount of sick leave, they will get paid back 1/4 of the value of the days that they have earned. And in some cases that can amount to thousands of dollars, of which automatically, permissively within the retirement fund, the district's going to match. So that is how it happens. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, sort of. I'm just trying to think. So, well, my next question was, what are the negatives? I don't know if we really addressed, what are the negatives of Mr. Janago's request to the school district?
Well, the negatives in this request are that it's an additional amount that we've not originally intended to plan to spend. We had not budgeted for or planned for this additional I believe it's about $8,900 payment to TRS above and beyond what we had done. Because we had said, okay, we're going to budget for 3 people. We budgeted about $24,000, a little over $24,000 in our general fund to make this payment. And then we didn't budget on the backside in our retirement account or in our general fund account. So if we were to make this payment, we'd be looking at, which fund would we be pulling that from? Do we have money there to pull from? In the general fund right now, we have one more person this year that is eligible for their retirement incentive. So there are monies in the general fund. Now, if the board were to decide at this minute in time that this would be treated as termination pay, then henceforth from here forward, we will have to take action at the August board meeting to ensure that we at least budget in our retirement account for those 3 teachers on that side here that it's permissibly paid out of the retirement fund. And I'm not sure if our retirement fund has the money in it to afford us to make this payment. So that's one of the names.
Yeah, and it's budgeted in the general fund for the 3 people, but that's not where this extra would be coming from. It would be coming from our retirement fund.
But as I've stated, I'm not certain there's enough there that we created originally at the beginning of the year to cover this.
Yeah,
So that's
I'm a little confused about, I know it's just my naivety about the 2 budgets. You got a retirement budget and you got a general fund budget, right? And you budgeted this 3 persons out of the general fund, right? But not the retirement fund, obviously.
No.
So if you were to take it out of the retirement fund, you'd have that $8,900 left over in your general fund.
We're planning to pay the retirement incentive out of the general fund. But if we have the additional 89, if it's going to be treated as termination pay, we go into the retirement fund because it's termination pay. Because it fits out of the rules of TRS. We go in there and use that for that reason. But the problem we run into in that instance is, would we overspend the retirement fund because I'm not certain we have budgeted money to account for this additional $8,900. That's one of those funds that...
The additional, is that the matching that you're talking about? No. And I think Mr. Janago said that maybe he can't do this, but he would not want the matching. Is that what I heard?
No, that's...
No, that's not.
No, that's what it's at. That's
what
I'm asking.
Oh, okay, I got you. All right, now,
because what he ends up doing on his end with TRS is he takes the $8,040.
$8,040 that goes right into the TRS. I don't see it.
So basically,
other than my payout.
That's our general fund money that
Right.
goes there, and then the retirement money goes in.
Then you'd have to match that. Okay. Now,
Now, if we did this and granted his request, would that cause problems in the future? Would we be likely to have another teacher in the same situation?
Well, any teacher in the future that would opt to utilize this clause in the contract, the precedents would be set and would be treated equally to what Mr. Janago was treated to here tonight.
And just for information, in the past, it has never been done like that. It's been treated as a lump sum, just as Mrs. Cornish said, it's a lump sum that has not had been added to termination pay. On that, just.
I have a couple of statements to make and a question too, I guess. First of all, I understand your intent when you were negotiating. However, in looking through the negotiation notes, we have no record of that intent being stated. And so we have no knowledge that that was the intent. And just to clarify things, Gary Janago was not asking for the $8,900. He didn't know anything about the $8,900. He was just asking for the $8,040 to be applied to his last 3 years' salary, naive to the fact that there would have to be a board match. And every teacher, when we reach the age of retirement, wants to see as much money in their last 3 years' salary as possible. This probably, the $8,040 being rolled into his retirement probably represents about $30,000 over 20 years in his retirement, which is a substantial amount when you think about it. And I think it was reasonable for him to think that he could put it into retirement because there was nothing saying that he couldn't. He didn't understand about the matching. And I don't know, in the past, we've had an early retirement. I mean, I can't remember a time when somebody took it as cash. It seems to me like they always took it as 3 years toward their insurance.
We have two of them that took it, the last two took it as a lump sum.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of that, that's just total insurance. And, okay, well, that clarifies that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the last two
The last two,
that
yeah.
had the incentive took it in some of the paperwork that they fill out, which we're in the process of changing because of the wording language. It states in that paperwork that it will not be included in termination pay and part of the TRS, but we haven't had a chance to give that out or anything yet, because we're trying to figure out the correct wording, so.
So there's no way that we can put the 8,000 into the retirement like you want. There's a law against that.
No, it's permissive, we would have to, it's permissive.
But then we would have to do the matching thing.
Oh, we have to, yeah.
You can't, and they can't be one without the other.
Yeah, if he chooses, if he elects to have this money placed into
Termination, there is
his
no.
TRS as termination pay, as part of his termination pay.
And pick option one, and I'm sorry, that, I think that's correct, if you pick the option one, then we're required.
We're required to match. And Mr. Kuchel is absolutely correct. Mr. Janago never approached the district with the request for additional monies. His request was only about being able to use these monies towards his termination pay for TRS.
let me ask another, this is a wide open question, so then don't think badly of me, but what would you have to match if it was $4,020?
Not $4,900.
But you can't offer him.
Yeah,
with
yeah, it's already in.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what you're, yeah.
yeah.
I'm thinking the same thing.
Had it not been in the, and that was one of the reasons that I wanted it in the negotiated contract, so that this didn't come up every board meeting, that it was, I mean, in the spring, that it was something that was contractual, if they wanted it, they could have it, and boards for the next 25 or 30 years wouldn't have to make the decision every year. My gosh, the teachers come and ask for incentive, and they deserve it, and yet maybe there's not money in the budget. This way, it's just budgeted automatically. We know every year that there could be the possibility